This is Behind the Scenes. I'm Scott Sexsmith. A local dog trainer has found a very creative all-season way to save money on gas. Sault Ste reporter Alex Flood is here to explain. Alex, Chris Nielsen gets around town with the help of his 5 huskies, pulling him on either a skateboard or sled. What kind of training methods did he use to ensure their safety and proper training?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. It's honestly wild. I mean, this guy must be saving bank on gas right now. We all know how expensive gas is these days. But no, he does off-leash training with the dogs when he first gets them when they're little pups, which you wouldn't recommend to the general public. You're actually not technically supposed to do that. But I mean, it's such a unique breed and such a unique circumstance. And when he got his first dog, this guy never could have imagined he was going to have 5 of these things pulling him around town. He just thought it would be something fun to do. You know, it's kind of a disciplinary thing. It's kind of a hobby thing. So it's definitely by no means something that he would ever consider doing professionally. But yeah, it is off-leash training over at Fort Creek. And each dog that he gets, the older ones train them. So he actually admits that he doesn't even have to do much now because the dogs kind of just take over in training. The off-leash dog will follow the older dogs over at Fort Creek and kind of buddy up. And apparently it's a great way to get them all coordinated, get them working together, getting them walking together and kind of in sync. And the oldest dog and the most veteran dog is kind of the leader, keeps them all in check. Ironically, it's the smallest dog too that does it. They're a slightly different breed of husky than the other 4. So yeah, it's pretty cool to watch them run around.
Well, we certainly won't tell anyone that he's doing any off-leash training, Alex. What inspired Chris to start this really unique and eye-catching activity? Did he have any prior experience with dog sledding or maybe a particular interest in the breed of huskies?
You know, not to my knowledge. I mean, I'm sure he had owned dogs probably previously to these 5. That's really just an assumption, though. He really got into huskies. It was like once he got one, he wanted another one, and he wanted another one and another one. He fell in love with the huskies, and it's hard to blame him. They're a fantastic breed of dog. I'm sure a lot of dog lovers would argue that they are the most disciplined dogs, and they're very lovable. They're very fun to cuddle with, hang out with, and he loves doing that too. They're not while he is a dog trainer, I think he would consider himself a dog owner first. They sleep with them at night, and they hang out during the day. They're not kept outside like sled dogs or anything. These are his pets. But he's definitely found more use for the pets than I think most dog owners would. So he loves doing it. It's really purely just a hobby.
And he's certainly well known around town, Alex, and has been spotted more than once. Any stories or interactions that stand out?
Yeah, people see him all the time. He really goes, sledding and on his board. Being pulled by the dogs around the central part of town. So a lot of folks living around the Fort Creek area or, along Second Line, like they see him all the time. So he gets people honking at him. He gets kids wanting to come up and meet the dogs and pet them. He's always down for that. They're very friendly. So it's just such a peculiar thing. You're just driving along the road and you just see what looks like sled dogs because they really are. So, it's not something you expect to see in the Sioux either. I mean, we're obviously a pretty small town and we have a lot of active lifestyle sort of people around here, but it's one of those things you'd expect to see maybe out at somebody's camp or like outside of the city limits. And he does that too. Like he'll take them to Garden River. These dogs can go so far, but within city limits, you don't really expect to see that. And I think that's how you're in Canada, especially in Northern Ontario. It's just, it's not something you expect to see. But I think just in terms of stories wise, not really a specific one, but on a general level, it's definitely a lot of people wanting to come by and meet them. And some people have even wanted to ride the sled, and he tells them like, no, I'm sorry, like we can't. I don't want like any liability issues, but he's even talked about wanting to do like Bon Sioux and stuff as well, and getting some more interaction there with some kids. So the community loves it. He loves it. It's great all around.
Only in the north for sure, and at almost $1.60 a liter, Alex. I think Chris is certainly onto something.
I think he is. And yeah, I mean, obviously it's dogs aren't cheap. Huskies are not cheap, but I still think he's probably going to make all the money back from not spending on gas, and he's doing it in a fun way and an eco-friendly way too. So it's yeah, it's awesome.
Absolutely. Sioux Today reporter Alex Flood. Thanks for this, Alex, and thanks for taking us behind the scenes.